I'm Candy Tolentino of howtomakeitinhollywood.com, and this video is all about why you need a fantastic monologue today. There are 3 components of a monologue that I think you should test against what you're currently doing. Number 1, does it make people laugh? Number 2, does it make people cry? Or, distant second, number 3, does it make people scared, but in a good way? That one's tricky. I prefer you stick with number 1 or number 2. But if you can't make people laugh or cry, if you can scare them by being so creepy and so believable and so eerie as some type of character and powerful that they will remember you, that can work too. And here's what I'm getting at. 99% of actors have monologues that are decent, that have been heard 1,000 times, or that are utterly forgettable. Most of your competition is going to fall in those categories. So I need you to be different. Here's what I need you to do. Number 1, if the monologue has been done in a film and made famous, don't you dare touch it. Don't you do it. Don't do it. You are not Matthew McConaughey in A Time to Kill. Okay? You are not Jodie Foster in any of her movies. You're not Robert De Niro. You are not Anthony Hopkins. Sorry if you're watching this. You ain't Anthony Hopkins. So please don't go there. How could you possibly compete against one of the greatest actors of our time and a fully produced production, lighting, sound, editing, and all of that, and you're gonna go in a room flat with a chair and compete with Anthony Hopkins? It's ridiculous. But I've seen actors do it. Your comrades, your competition, I've seen it time and time again. It is a mistake. Do not do some famous, overly produced monologue. Don't do it. Instead, find an obscure monologue, or even better, write your own. Write your own and put literally everything and anything that you can do that is talent on display and that is funny and that is memorable, and roll it into 3 minutes or less and get remembered. I'll give you a perfect example. I had a monologue that I fashioned from a Spike Lee film called Jungle Fever, and it was actually a scene with about 5 or 6 women. He calls it the War Council. 5 or 6 women discussing why men are messed up when they date interracially and cheat on their wives. And I just thought this was the most dramatic, interesting, compelling monologue, and I performed it, and I performed it well, and people always complimented me on it when I went to showcases, and I even think I got like a mid-level agent out of that monologue, but not like a power player agent. And I never got the type of response that I was really, really looking for. And then one day, I was frustrated with my so-so mid-level, not even mid, well, they were decent agent. They were a decent agent for children when I first signed up with them, but yeah, they weren't really players in the adult game. So I was frustrated that I wasn't getting as many auditions as I wanted to. And my friend who worked at one of those casting director agent showcase places in LA called me and said, in a week, this big agency is gonna be here, and you need to do your monologue, and you need to do your different accents, and put your leg behind your head, and get a monologue together, write it, perform it, because you need a new agent, and they're coming in a week, no excuses. And I was like, is she crazy? How am I gonna write a monologue in a week, much less perform, fully flesh out a monologue and do it for this top level agent who I really want to be with in a week's time? She's bananas. But the pressure of only having a week to do it made me put the pedal to the metal, and honey child, I wrote this monologue. And I literally put all these different characters that I had been performing in my mind for years. And so I think my monologue, when all was said and done, had about 7 different characters in it. A Jamaican woman, an Asian, a valley girl, etc., etc. And I happen to have this physical ability where, okay, I'm really flexible, so I used that. And I made the monologue super funny. Some people, when I performed this monologue, have like walked out in tears, like crying, laughing so hard that they're crying. Some people have belly aches. For whatever reason, it really worked. Lightning struck, and this monologue was powerful. So needless to say, I signed with the agent. I continued to perform the monologue at showcases, which I highly recommend for actors. If there's one near you, find it, go to it. perfect your work and get in front of people who are in a position to hire you. Or, of course, check out our casting director workshops online. They're definitely worth it, and you get to ask very targeted Q&As to casting directors and other industry professionals who are in a position to mentor or hire you. But back to making an incredible monologue. So I went to one workshop on a Sunday with a very prominent casting director, and on a Monday I got a call to come into her office for an audition for a lead in a film that same day. So I went in that same day, and lo and behold, she put me on tape to, instead of just reading the sides, she put me on tape to perform for this very well-known director who was producing a film, and I got to read for the lead by performing my monologue. Because it was so good that it was haunting her, and she wanted this prominent director to see it, and he liked it so much that he put me on hold for his film in first position. Long story short, a year later, the film got put in turnaround. A year later, I re-auditioned. I screen tested with two other now very well-known actresses. One of them has even been nominated for an Oscar, and every time I see her face or read her name, I'm like, she beat me out. She got it. So this Oscar-nominated actress actually got the part, but all because I wrote this unforgettable monologue. Was I even in the position to go from obscurity practically with the previous agent to connecting with a very powerful agent who now believed in me and could see all these different characters that I could do. They could see my comedic timing, and they could see my writing ability. All of it rolled into one 3-minute monologue, and I was now auditioning for major studio-connected directors, prominent people. It literally changed my life, and my phone was ringing off the hook, all because I wrote a powerful monologue. So what do I want you to do? Find an obscure monologue and give it all you've got, or write one and make sure it's really good, it's genuine, it's funny, it's heartbreaking or creepy, but memorable, and it showcases everything you've got. And trust me, if you do this, and it's good, it needs to be good, but if you do this, you will be well on your way, okay? So for more tips like these, be sure to check out our website, howtomakeitinhollywood.com. Thanks for watching, and as always, I'll see you in Hollywood.